she waits. The siren of the Irish Sea. For the brave, for the fearless, for the bold, seeking out their destiny. In the heart of every rider, her rhythm beats like a drum, the pulse of everything you trained for, of everything you've sacrificed and have become. And in the heart of every fan, she draws you in, pounding at your soul, injecting life through your veins, a desire born to your blood. You have one focus, one passion, one goal. And finally, you are with her. The wait comes to an end. A legacy before you. Electricity in the silence. Anticipation echoes through the air. You are not alone here. A band of brothers, of sisters, of warriors and friends. Because this is living and this is life. She is everything you expected. And the call of the road is upon you. Desire in your spirit. Thunder and lightning between your bones and your soul. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is your moment. This is the Isle of Man TT.
G'day and welcome to another slow and steady video here on the channel. My name is KT and today is Biking Sunday. Taking a look over the next couple of Biking Sundays at the Isle of Man TT. The reason? Well, the Isle of Man TT is live. The event starts, I believe, on May 26th. So it makes sense to kind of come back. So the original TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge racing video game was first released for the PlayStation 4 Xbox One on the 6th of March 2018, followed by the PC release on the 27th of March 2018. The iconic 37.73 mile Snaefell Mountain Course in TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge was recorded and built using advanced laser scanning technology. Because the real-life race takes place on a narrow, bumpy public roads surrounded by stone walls and cottages, the developers had to map the entire environment with extreme precision. They achieved this through meticulous three-step data capture process, laser scanning, high-definition photogrammetry, and real rider telemetry and physics. There, of course, is 3 in the series: Ride on the Edge 1, 2 and 3. This is Ride on the Edge 1, and the reason I've chosen this one is because, well, let's talk about it. Ride on the Edge 1 and 2 covers not just the Isle of Man TT. Like Ride on the Edge 3, it also does all the road races, the mini road races around Ireland. But what this has is quite special because it has Scotland, it has Wales and England road racing. Now you have England, Wales and Scotland in Ride on the Edge 1 and 2, but it's not featured on Ride on the Edge 3. That is just the Isle of Ireland, if you like. So yeah, there's certainly a reason to come back and revisit Ride on the Edge 1 and 2. My biggest problem with Ride on the Edge 2 is the fact that when you're riding the bike on Ride on the Edge 2, it seems to float. Where like Ride on the Edge 3, the bike stays planted in the middle of the screen and you can hook up those corners. When you're playing Ride on the Edge 2, it does seem to float. So as you can see, we're looking at the Snaefell Mountain Course now. And I am actually doing a commentary over this video, so I'm not actually controlling, so we're just going to sort of see how I kind of did it. So we're looking at the Tyrone track here, again part of Northern Ireland here, and then we should move over to Triangle Raceway, again in Northern Ireland. This is what we're covering today, the Old Blair Forest race up there in Scotland, which is fantastic to see across the UK. And then we're also going to do the Castle Ring at Scotland. So we'll be deep diving into those tracks. Here we have West Sussex 4000, over in England, which is where I'm based, and I think we've got the Hertfordshire circuit there. All road races, like I said, across England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland. And here we go into Wales now. We've got the Super Hillside in Wales on Ride on the Edge 1. And I think there's one more, Milford Street Circuit over in Wales. And each time we do these videos, we'll be deep diving into these circuits. We've got another one up in Northern Ireland, the Antrim Speed Track as well, 12 kilometres there, and then back to the full mountain course. Okay, so I've had to do a little bit of digging on this. Pure real road racing on closed public streets like the Isle of Man TT has been illegal on the UK mainland since the 1920s. However, Scotland bypassed this for decades by hosting the legendary motorcycle races on closed public roads inside municipal parks. Just as I can see that we're selecting our bike, we've got Super Sport or Super Bike. I think we're going to go with the 600 here as I talk over this video. We've got the Kawasaki, starting with of course with the Honda. I think, do I take the Kawasaki out? I might do. We've got two riders, I think. We've got Steve Mercer and Ivan, and I was trying to decide between the two. I think I went with Steve. So we've got a 600 ZX-6R Kawasaki. We're headed up to Scotland, and I want to talk about the circuit. So that might explain why we've not got England, Wales and Scotland in Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 3, because it's been banned. But let's talk about this particular track. The Old Blair Forest race is actually a fictional motorcycle circuit. The map is designed to look like a high-speed closed public road circuit slashing through dense pine forests and rolling mossy hills of the Scottish Highlands. It features a narrow asphalt, zero runoff areas, blind crests and thick tunnels of trees. Geographically, it draws heavy visual inspiration from real-world locations like Blairdam Forest area in Fife, which sits right next to the Scotland's actual national motorsport track, Knock Hill Racing Circuit, and the historic estate grounds surrounding Blair Castle in Perthshire. I've actually been to Blair Castle actually when I was a kid, so I think we're just doing our little sight lap here as we go out. Let's just put my glasses back on, nice and gingerly through this tight section. So sort of based around, you know, real Scotland, and a nod to the road racing that used to go on up there. So we're gearing up now for our hot lap as we come round. Actually, you've got to go full chat across here actually, 140, 150 miles an hour. You just back off that brake slightly. In fact, I don't even think you touch the brake, just lean off the throttle as I get a little bit on the grass there as we come around over the start line to put in my fastest lap. We go flat through here, I think 80, 90, over the start straight. Okay, so this is Blair Forest. Here we go. Here's my fastest lap so far. We've got to go through this tight section, so slow it all down. I've got my Ghost Rider there, who is slightly ahead right now, but I think we do beat it just about. I'd sort of put in maybe a few laps just to see what sort of time I could get as we come up to this. Yeah, you've got to watch that wall just as you come up over that crest, you know. Hard braking zone, and then through this tight section between these walls, actually gather a little bit more speed than my previous Ghost there, and trying to ride the bike in. The bike on Ride on the Edge 1 is a little bit more skitty than 2 and 3, I think. But ultimately, it's still a cracking game. You know, it's released, almost 8 years ago now, and I think it stands up pretty well. Again, full chat through this little village, lay off that throttle, and just try and get on those brakes just after the shadow of those trees. And that's your braking markers, really. You're looking at shadows, well, maybe not shadows, but I'm looking at trees and trying to find some sort of braking marker as we come over the line. I think we're going to slow up and reveal our fastest lap time. The top time that you'll see will be the current time of this lap. So you'll see we've done 11 seconds of this lap that we're on now, but the fastest time that I've managed to achieve is a 1 minute 12.601. I don't think that's too bad, and that was on the Kawasaki ZX-6R. I've also got to say, I think the bike models, look at the rubber there on the tyre, and as we pan across you get to see the carbon as well on the bike. I think the bikes overall do look and sound really, really good. So if you are looking for a TT game to pick up, alright, the handling's not as good as maybe Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 3, but still very accessible. So moving from the Kawasaki 600, I think we're going to take a look at the 1000, and look there, the legendary English motorcycle racer known as John McGuinness, widely considered as one of the greatest road racers of all time, specifically famous for his dominance on the Isle of Man TT. Didn't he have his 100th race the other day? And had like a special bike or something or other. Nicknamed the Morecambe Missile, he has been a defining figure of pure real road racing for nearly 3 decades. He is very much a veteran. At 54 years old, McGuinness is famous for his incredible longevity in the sport, still competing safely at the highest level. The current team, he continues to compete at international road races representing Honda, the CBR 1000 there. He holds the record for the most TT podium finishes in history, standing on the blocks an incredible 47 times. In 2007, he became the first rider in history to shatter the 130-mile-an-hour average lap barrier around the grueling 37.3-mile mountain course. So next up, we're going to be looking at Castle Ring, again in Scotland. It's a popular fictional motorcycle road racing circuit featured in this game. Just like the Old Blair Forest track, the game developers explicitly set the Castle Ring circuit in the lush, rolling green countryside of Scotland. While the layout itself is built for the video game, the visual design is a love letter to the real-world Scottish borders and historic properties. The track gets its name and vibe from an Iron Age hill fort configurations and historical castle parks common across the British Isles. The atmosphere of the track is visually striking, featuring highly dense foliage, rolling stone walls and dense pockets of trees, just as we take a look at John McGuinness here. Sadly, you don't get to make your own character in this game, but on the Honda CBR 1000. Coming back to the track, it's a closed public road style course that wraps around the historic Scottish estate and castle ruins, blending tight country lanes and wide sweeping stretches. Castle Ring is a favourite among players because it blends terrifyingly fast flowing curves with sudden heavy braking zones as we go out and do our sight lap here. The track features several blind late apex corners that dare players to carry their speed. If you roll on the throttle too early, the bike will easily clip the grass or hedges, leading to a catastrophic, oh my goodness, KT, crash. The final corner, players frequently point out the final corner of the circuit is a slow, tightening turn that requires early braking and precise throttle modulation before you hit the home straight away. So we're on the home stretch now as I do my commentary over this video as best I can. Sadly, I've not got the corner names. It's always quite nice when we got the corner names for it, but oh no, of course you wouldn't, because it's a fictional track, isn't it? As we come round this sort of like double sort of chicane here on the back section. I think this is still our sight lap, heading down, flat out now, 100 miles an hour. I think I was braking halfway through the shadow, yeah, about there, just to get that right hander, and we'll look to do our fastest lap. So heading up straight here, 120. So look at the map here, just a sort of sweeping right. Actually, you've got to let off the brakes a little bit for this one because I come a cropper. Like I said, we're going to be doing our fastest lap after this one right now as we roll it round. Once you get into this kind of town, you can then really open it up now, so it's flat out all the way through the rest of the town. It must be terrifying to stand there and watch anything like this, like a bike going past at 160 miles an hour. Again, on the brakes here because I did crop that a couple of times before doing my fastest lap. I think I lose it here. The bike just got a bit squirrely and got away from me and ended up crashing. So as we come around that corner once more for the final time, this is my fastest lap after about 15 minutes of going round and round in circles. But I do love track racing. I do love motorbikes, and that's what it's all about for Biking Sunday. As we've got our fastest ghost there at the moment. Not sure if I beat the ghost, but we'll see how we go around this right-hander. Slightly ahead. Certainly got a better exit speed as we come through, doing 130, 140 with the stone walls either side, looking for braking for a hard right here as it just rolls around slightly left, and then we let the bike carry the speed in and get back on that throttle. We are ahead of that Ghost Rider right now, and flat out again, absolutely pinned. And then we've got this sort of double chicane that sort of happens. Obviously it's a straight road maybe, and they've just sort of dipped it. No, it's actually a turn in the road. And then further down the road we've got a right and a left, and it's just trying to get that entry speed so you can get like a nice flow in and out, and then pinning it now to really what is a hard right. I think this is where we brake on shadow. Yeah, halfway through that shadow, roll this one in, and like I said, you know, the handling of Ride on the Edge one is not too bad. I think sometimes it can the bike can sort of like sway, and I don't know, it's an old game, but it's still very accessible as we come around here back into the town. Actually pretty good lines, I would say, on this particular run, as we're full chat now out of the town. And you've got to back off for this one here because I have caught that sign a couple of times, and this is where we came off. That bike's still on us, not many miles away, as I get up closer on that wall. And we come across the finish line for the final time and take a look at my fastest lap. So let's pull up and have a quick look. Castle Rings, Scotland. Ignore the 8 seconds, that's the current lap time. So a 1:52.577, and a slightly longer track actually, 5 kilometers long, and a fictional track, but nonetheless sort of inspired heavily by Scotland. That sort of takes us to the end of the video now, really. So thank you again for joining me here on these Biking Sundays. I think we're doing Wales next week, and then we'll do England, and then we'll finish with the Isle of Man TT, which will be in the thick of the real life event taking place right now. So from me to you, if you like the video, smash like on the way out. It's always appreciated. Looking at the career mode there, quite there. I've got to go because I can only do 20 minutes of commentary on this edit software that I have here. If you're subscribed, thank you for being part of the SAS crew. If you're not subscribed, you kind of like your bikes, then maybe hit subscribe. Thank you to the SAS crew members as always. That's me, Katie, out. See you next week. Take care. See you soon. Bye.